All right, so we're gonna get started, everybody. Again, there we go. There's Max. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get started. So again, right off the bat, really excited to have everybody on here. Again, it's we're in a really fun situation. As you probably know, again, we've had a lot of success recently, and we're looking to kind of continue that success. And again, the gentlemen in this chat I think, are going to be a big part of the success of the program moving forward, which makes us really excited. And so, what this is going to kind of be, and again, welcome to this. I know this again, some of this is going to be actual running. We'll talk a little bit about how summer operates, but really, a lot of this is actually going to be logistics just to make sure we're all prepared for the other side of things. Getting set up with all the other kind of parts that we need to get set up for. And so that's what this is really going to be too much about. And again, we'll try to keep it on the quicker side. I don't want to keep us here all night. I know we're starting at 8 p.m. at night. So, well, 8 p.m. Eastern. I know for some of you Central timers, that's a little different. But so again, we're going to start again. For those, I'll kind of introduce myself and I'll let Coach introduce himself. Again, I assume most of y'all know me at least a little bit. Again, my name's Cam Teberg, if you can't tell by the accent. Obviously, I'm not from here, not from Indiana, not from Ohio. Originally from Wisconsin. Of course, my past is a former collegiate runner myself. Had a pretty successful career, and then I went into the coaching side of things. I'm going on to year 8 at being a head coach at the college level, and this is actually year 5. I'm going to be going into year 5 here at IU East. But then, Coach, you want to introduce yourself too? Again, I know some of you already know him pretty well, but again, he can introduce himself and talk a little bit more about his running pedigree as well.
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Coach Klipstein. I know some of you that know me, and then some of you are like, "Who is this guy?" So I'm the assistant cross country coach, and then on the track side of things, I work with the middle distance crew. Um, I'm from Ansonia, Ohio, so close to Greenville, Ohio. Some of you Ohio people might know where Greenville is, real close to that. Um, I was a runner here at IU East myself. Specialized in the 800, 153, 800 runner. Um, Also ran cross country, had some fun with that as well. Um, and as an assistant coach here, my role is, I support you guys and Coach T-Berg any way that I can. So I'll be, helping with practices, helping with logistics, might even jump in some workouts here and there. Um, I'm getting older, so if I jump in workouts, it'll probably be with the ladies, not as much with you guys. You guys are a little fast. But yeah, I'm really excited for the upcoming season. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you guys a little bit better. So
Perfect. Thanks, Coach. And so quickly, just with the guys here, again, I know we have one I know wasn't going to be available tonight. But just for the guys here, I want us to make sure we introduce ourselves. And so again, just we can keep it pretty general. I know some of you guys already know each other. Again, I know a lot of you have already raced each other multiple times, especially ones from certain areas of the state of Indiana slash different areas of the state of Ohio. But I do want to start with introductions. Again, name, where you're from, and just talk a little bit about from the running side of things, how long you've been at it and those type of things. But again, I'll kind of organize and just kind of let you know. So, Hunter, you want to start for us?
Yeah, sure. Just like Coach said, my name's Hunter. Um, from Indiana. I've been running since middle school. Started in sixth grade. My friend convinced me to join cross, so I've been doing that since cross and track. Um, yeah, I really don't know what else to talk about other than that.
No, that's fair. That sounds good. That sounds good. Thanks, Hunter. Alex?
Hey, I'm Alex. From Ohio. I started doing track freshman year. Uh, they threw me into basically long distance because, well, everybody else wanted to join sprinting because it's easier and that. I guess I don't know. Then sophomore year, I joined cross country. I had a lot of group of guys like older upperclassmen that like brought me along under their wing, and I developed under them. And while mile time, my fastest is a 4:53. 2 mile is a 10:17, and then a 5K is my fastest is 16:35. But that's generally that.
No, perfect. Perfect. Thanks. Thanks, Alex. And then we'll go back.
Yep, I'm from Ohio, Compton, Ohio. Started running seventh grade, uh, doing cross and track, and been doing it since now senior year. So it's been had some problems with like iron deficiency in the middle of it, but we're back to being faster. So I guess it's a lot better. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Perfect. Thomas?
So hi, my name is Thomas Hogan. I'm from Southern Indiana, and I ran since elementary, but I've always used it for like basketball conditioning. I didn't start taking it seriously till high school, and um, so do I need to list my PRs or anything, or is that good?
If you want to, that's only you don't have to.
5K PR 15:59, miles of 4:37, 2 mile 9:45.
Perfect. Perfect. Justin?
Um, I'm from Southern Indiana as well. Me and Thomas actually go to the same school. I know Max too. And I started track as a sprinter freshman year, and then basically went up from there. I went up to 400 sophomore year, and then junior year I was a 800 type of guy and did the mile some. This year I'm focusing a lot on the 2 mile, and I've had some pretty good times, I think.
Wow. Perfect. Perfect. Max?
Uh, Hi, I'm Max. I'm from Southern Indiana. I know Thomas and Justin very well. Um, I started high school playing football my freshman year, and then I ran distance because I was too slow for sprints. And then they convinced me to join cross country my sophomore year. And then my PRs are my 5K is 16:06, my miles 4:37, and then my 2 mile is 10 flat.
Perfect. Perfect. No, thanks, guys. Again, so the reason we do that, again, one, you're going to get to know each other quite a bit. A big part of how we've had our success here at East, and again, again, we were coming off, some pretty good seasons, is that connection that we have within our guys team. And that's been a big remedy for how we've had our success. And I want to kind of leeway that into what I want to do when it comes to setting the stage for the season. Again, some of this meeting is not going to be necessarily talking a lot about running, but I think it's important that we do set the stage. And again, we'll have the meeting with the whole team. Again, I just want to have this be a freshman-oriented one first. But just again, as you might have already seen, I should say, I know you've already seen this because I've already sent it to you. So I hope we took a look at it, at least at some point. But I do want to show you, and again, kind of when we mean by setting the stage. This is going to be the look of what our season's really going to be defined by is these kind of three big characteristics, gentlemen. And I know you're like, hey, I got my high school season still. I'm going to run well for my team right now. Absolutely. And of course, some of this is going to be looking in the future and of course during the summer. Because again, every good season in cross always begins with a good summer season. Fast times don't happen in November if we weren't getting our business done in June and July. And that's the reality of the situation. And so, and that's why it's important that we do start this process again, even though I know you're still in your seasons and I know you still got graduation and I know you still got grad parties and you got quite a bit of things that are going to be going on in your plate. But I do want to kind of set the tone for kind of what we're doing here. And that's with the big three, and the big three are, as you kind of see on the screen, loyalty. And what does that mean? For us, loyalty is going to mean loyalty to the training plan, loyalty to yourselves when it comes to your work ethic, when it comes to the consistency needed to be successful at this level. Because I'll be honest, again, it's everybody here has a lot of talent. And when we do this Zoom meeting with the whole guys team, there's a lot of talent going to be on that Zoom meeting. But there's a lot of talent right now in this Zoom meeting. But the result of success comes with loyalty to your training, and loyalty comes with consistency. And that's really what the stage is all going to be set. Because again, as I mentioned, good times happen in November if June and July are handling your business. And so that's where loyalty comes from. It's loyalty to yourselves, loyalty to the team, loyalty to your training. And if we do that, we're going to like the result. And then, of course, momentum. Again, guys, we were 16th at nationals last year. We graduated All-American. If you just look at the roster, we're graduating All-American. Again, the first one in school history, he's going to be graduating. And so we are looking to still maintain momentum. And we still have some of our top guys coming back. But I know that on this Zoom call, we have some guys that are going to become top guys too. And I think a lot of you are going to be huge factors for what we do, and we have roles for every one of you guys. And so what we need to do is hold up our end of the bargain. And that means we maintain the momentum of the success we had last year, and we want to continue driving that forward. And again, you guys know, you guys are going to be a big part of all of that. And it's not just going to be seniors that dominate. You got to remember, our second runner last year was a true freshman. And so there's a lot of going to be opportunities for you guys to have those big shoes right off the bat, and not talking about your shoe size, talking about role on the team. And it's going to be a big part when we maintain momentum moving forward. And the narrative, as with every story, it has a beginning and an end. And as you guys are finishing up your high school careers, that story's coming to an end, right? Well, now we're trying to look at how we're going to reestablish the narrative for 2025 to 2026 IU East Red Wolves. And we get to be the writers. That's what the fun part is of this whole part, is all of this is controllable, at least to a degree. You get to control your effort. You get to control your consistency. And if we do that, I think we're going to like what the narrative unfolds at the end. And so when we, again, without going into too much detail, and we'll talk a lot more about this, for us, it's loyalty, momentum, narrative. If those three things are all in our favor, I think we're really going to like the results of what the season's going to uphold. Obviously, a lot of fun, but then also, progress academically. And then, of course, we're going to finish the season where we want to finish, which is the last race. At the end of the day in college, our goal is to get to the last race and then do really fun things at the last race. And for us, that means the nationals, mate. Okay. And so that's really what I want to do when it comes to setting the stage for what we're looking to do. And now I do want to quickly talk about, we're going to switch gears a little bit. It's going to be kind of on the boring side of things. But these are the important things too. And a lot of this is going to refer to the academic perspective, as well as making sure that we get our eligibility stuff taken care of so we can run in the fall. You got to remember, there's some things that have to be done before we'll be able to run. And so we're going to talk a little bit about these, as you can kind of see here. Again, we'll talk about the off-season dates here in a little bit, but the biggest thing I want to focus on right now is the checklist aspect to it. And so really first thing is talk about student orientation. Please make sure that you've signed up for student orientation. I understand that state Indiana and state Ohio is that first date. I believe so. And for some of you, we're going to be looking at, you're going to be at that last race. And your teams are going to be getting pretty far. Your relays, your individual efforts are going to be getting pretty far in the postseason. Just make sure that we're picking one of the earlier sessions. And the reason I tell you that is because at orientation is when you're going to get all your classes. So it's how they're going to get your class selection taken care of. You're also going to get your card. You're going to get your IU East card. All those things get taken care of during the orientation process. They are pretty fun events because, again, you do get to see a lot of just the regular student body. And the big reason I push to have these early, because there's going to be quite a few of them on there, and some of them may be easier for you schedule-wise in July. But the reason I tell you to do this early is because, like, normally once you're already here, you get priority on class selection because you're an athlete. And so let's say second semester, you're going to get your priority done, right? Well, now you're going to be coming in with everybody, which means that you are in the same boat as every regular student who walks through the door. And so if we want to be in the classes we want, it is important that you go to one of those early orientation meetings. Okay. So that's the biggest one right off the bat. Let's get that taken care of. Second thing is make sure we have our housing aspect taken care of. So that means you need to contact Jenny. Again, that number is right there. If Jenny is not responding to you, because I know there's some family things going on, please let me know and I'll get you in contact with Stephanie Curtis. She's another nice lady who will help you with your housing. We want to make sure we get this stuff taken care of pretty soon. Again, I kind of already sent you your guys' stuff about who you'll be rooming with and stuff like that. Let me know on anything housing wise, because we do want to get that taken care of pretty soon. And then the other big one is NAI eligibility, and this one has a big timeline to it, guys. Is the NAI eligibility center? I know we only have a small handful that have started it, and the reason I think this is very important is because the NAI eligibility, if you don't have it done by the time you get here in August, it's gonna be tough because you're probably not going to be able to get eligible in time for your first race. And so that's because again, you can't race until you go through your NAI eligibility. And again, you guys are all going to be eligible. Again, that's something I've already, made sure. As long as our grades are what they were, you're going to be eligible. But we do need to get through the process. And so that's going to be a huge factor for you, is making sure that we get that NAI eligibility paperwork done. And so the other big reason I really stress to do it now is because if we don't do it now, you gotta remember, especially you got a lot of you guys are from smaller schools, your guidance counselor is the one who has to do it. You have to fill out, you have to start your profile. And then once your profile is established, then your guidance counselor is going to be the one who goes and puts in your transcripts through the NAI portal. Okay. And the reason this is important, we got to get done before graduation, is because if you wait, your counselor is going to be gone from June to August. Because again, once they're done, they're done. They're not going to be back until August. And so make sure we really prioritize this process getting done at a quicker rate, okay? So that's the one reason I say let's make sure we get NAI eligibility paperwork done. Let me know if you have any questions on that, but it is a very important part. Because again, if we don't get it done before you leave and before your counselors leave, it's very likely we're not going to be able to get you ready to go for the first race, and we're going to have to sit out the first race. And we don't want that. Obviously, we want to race, right? Okay. And the last one, I know it's the other part. Again, I assume you guys are all familiar with physicals. Yep, I know you are. Why? Because you had to do them to compete at your high school. That doesn't change at the college level. So make sure you have your physical done. So our process here works in two forms. There's the online version that you have to fill out. That's more based on media. It'll take you about 15 minutes to complete. You could probably complete it tonight if you wanted to. But then you also have your physical forms, and that's what you're going to bring to your doctor or to the individual who runs your physical, because they're the ones who are going to have to fill it out for you. So make sure you have your printed form, then you have your online form. And again, follow that link to there, and you'll be able to see the physical and the online. Okay. Again, I know that's not the fun stuff. That's not the flashy stuff, but it's stuff that all is important when it comes to us being eligible. Because if you don't have your physical done by the time we get here on August 6th, you're not able to train with us. And so that's the key thing. But that's why it's the last one, because that's something that can be done during the summer. Okay. All right, now let's talk running. Let's talk running. Let's talk how summer kind of operates. And so as you can kind of see here, I'm going to scroll down. So meetings. Let's make sure we are all aware of our meetings. And so there are going to be individual meetings. You can kind of see the dates right there. See them on the calendar. We will have set times for you. Again, these are not long meetings. These are about 15-minute meetings. And these are meetings where, of course, you can always text me, but these are meetings where you have my full attention. And we are going to talk training. We're going to talk about what we need to do training-wise to get us to where we want to go. And these are where these individual meetings happen. And then we also will have team meetings throughout the summer. Those will primarily be captain-led. And again, I can already tell you who your captains are. It's Tucker Burris and Richard Bauer. Tucker Burris is a 24 5K-er. Richard Bauer has our school record in the steeplechase and was a low 25 guy, a part of the national team. Both of them have been national qualifiers before. They are your two captains. Obviously, you'll get to meet them in person if you haven't already met them. Yeah, and so we'll have team meetings throughout. Just make sure you have those on your calendar. And again, they are just going to be what they are, just quick meetings that we just kind of keep the team aspect kind of going from there. Because again, starting to build those bonds with some of the upperclassmen is going to be a big part as well. I know it's not going to be perfect, but it does at least start the process. Okay, and then training plans. So here's how training plans will operate. So once you're a little bit closer to your end of your seasons, again, I know you guys aren't close to done. I know you still got, each of you at least probably got a month, at least. Some of you will have longer. Then we will, in May, I'm gonna be reaching out to you guys, and we're gonna set a time for us just to individually talk individually, and then we're gonna write up your plan. And so you can kind of see right in the here. I gotta switch this. Stop the share. Okay, so stop the share. You can look right here on the back. Again, this is literally one of our guys' plan on this board right back here. Obviously, you'll have something a little similar, except it'll be a full calendar. And that's where we will individually talk about how we're going to do this training plan. Okay. And that will happen in those individual meetings, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. And that's where we'll go into detail about how we're going to train, do all the variables and stuff like that. But the last thing I want to talk about quickly is what we always call, and this is an important thing, this is something I challenge you guys to kind of make sure you have set up, especially for once, and again, this is something that can start being set up now. Some of this will be pretty easy for some of you. Some of this will be, some thoughts are going to have to go into this, but we always kind of call it, setting up your fort. And what we refer to that as is make sure you have your variables kind of set in a row before you begin your summer training. Because again, you're gonna get a break period after your seasons, but then we're in it. Again, if we don't run well in June, there's no way we're gonna run well in November. And so for us, it's about setting up the fort. And what I mean by that is kind of the following things. And so right off the bat, let's make sure our shoes are where they need to be. And so how I view shoes is there's three different types of shoes in the running world, right? You have your recovery shoes / your general training shoes for recovery runs and your higher mileage type stuff. That's your pegs, that's your adrenalines, that's your ghosts, that's your Cliftons if you're a Hoka guy. Those are those shoes. Make sure you have those. Make sure you have your mileage ready to go for those, because you got to remember you're only going to get about 500 miles per shoe. And so if you're trying to plan to use your ones from Cross into your summer, well, again, you probably put up 400, 500 miles during your cross season. By the time you get to summer, those shoes are going to be gone. And the last thing you want to do is start your summer off on bad shoes. And so make sure we have our shoe game ready to go. And then we also have our workout shoes. Those tend to be used for some of your faster tempo and some of your VO2 max stuff. Again, those can be really what you kind of use specifically. Some of the team uses ASICs. Some of them are more based off of something with a plate. You don't have to have a plate. It just depends on what you're kind of looking for in that regard. And then you got your racing shoes. You're not going to be touching those anytime soon. Those will be your spikes. And so we just want to make sure you have your shoes ready to go for the summer. And that's something that we are currently doing and currently rocking. Okay. And then the second thing, I know already most of you guys are already locked in on it, but get your Strava ready to go. Everything is tracked on Strava. Here at IU East, everything will be tracked on Strava. That's how I can coach you during the summer. Because again, it's tougher. Again, you can tell me I ran 5 miles and ran at this pace, but then I don't know what your cadence was. I don't know a lot of different variables that can kind of come from what I can see when I get to see a Strava live feed. And so let's make sure we have our Strava ready to go, whether that's, and again, for you Apple Watch fans, let's make sure that we're ready to go in that regard. Because I know you're going to have obviously, if you're a Garmin, you already got it directly connected to your Strava, and that's going to take 2 seconds. If you're an Apple Watch guy, you're going to have to do some battling and figuring it out. But make sure your Strava is already ready to go for the summer, because everything during the summer is going to be tracked on Strava. That's just kind of how our team culture works, and that's a big part of how we can have our success. The second big part is cross training / your gym. For a lot of you, this is going to be your high school. Again, I assume most of you are still going to have access to your high schools, but make sure you have a location where if you need to do more cross training stuff, and again, this will be individually based, or if you, again, for lifting purposes, make sure you have access to a gym of some kind or something that you can do those in. Okay. And then your training areas, I assume it doesn't change where you're currently at. Make sure you have your training areas identified. And then the last big one is always make sure you have your eating package ready to go. And what that means is you have a good idea for the type of nutrition you're going to need consistently throughout the summer. Now, I'm not saying you go to the store and bulk buy 3 months worth of stuff, but I am saying is that you have your idea of, okay, I need to make sure I have these supplements in my plan. I need to make sure I get this type of stuff. Just have a general idea for that. And so that's the one task I ask you guys, gentlemen, is to figure out how are you going to set up your fort. And for some of you, I already got my shoes locked in. I already got a 3-shoe rotation. Perfect. For others, you've only used 1 shoe your whole career, and then you have your racing spikes. If you need help with any of those type of things, let me know. And again, we'll get that stuff set up, because that's something I'd like to start getting that set up. So by the time we get to June or late May, and we're starting to rock the training, we already kind of got our fort set up. But yeah, so Sorry, I talked a lot. Again, gentlemen, sorry, I'm trying not to bore you. I know these meetings are always not the most fun. I promise during the summer they'll be a hair more fun when the rest of the guys are here. It's not just me talking. But anything I talked about, do we have any questions from the brass? Anything, anybody questioning, anything wondering that we're still wondering about right now? No? That's all right. That's all right. So good. I talked so clearly that I answered every question. Right, coach? Right? Okay. Well,
Think
guys, I don't
so.
want to keep you here all night. I know it's getting late. It's 8:30 and it's on a Sunday. I'll just kind of reiterate again, we're excited. As you can kind of tell, I talk quick because I'm excited. Because as I kind of mentioned, we're gonna have a pretty special group next year. I got a special group here, freshmen coming in, you guys, and then we got a very special group returning. And when you take two special groups together and you combine them into one, you're probably gonna have a pretty special group that can do some really fun things. Academically speaking, athletically speaking, and when we talk about getting that last race, we have, I think on paper, we have a group that can do it. We have a group that can get back to the last race. And if you do that, that means you have a banner. That means you have some fun stuff that goes along with it. And so, gentlemen, I'm very excited. I hope you guys are excited. Obviously, finish out your season strong for your teams. Keep up consistency on your training. Again, you'll be hearing from us quite a bit moving forward. But again, I will still be backed off. I'm gonna let you finish your seasons. I try to not interfere very much during the actual season, and then and then once your season start to wrap up, again, you'll be hearing from us quite a bit. Next meeting will be May 11th. That will be with the whole team. That's with all the guys. So you'll meet your captains. We'll start talking a little bit more specifically on some of the training stuff, but that will be May 11th again on a Sunday. Okay. Coach, you have anything quick?
I think you pretty much covered it. Like you said, super excited to get things rolling. I think we have a really good group. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see what we can do, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody better as the season progresses.
All right. Perfect. Well, hey, again, gentlemen, very excited. Have a, successful end of your seasons. And again, if any questions come up, feel free to let me know. Again, we'll be in contact moving forward. All right. You guys are good to sign off. I don't want to keep you here all night, guys. Hey, good luck on the rest of your semesters and good luck on the rest of your seasons.